What did you have to say? Did you forget during your struggle?
No, I didn't. But, like, this is interesting. Do you think has gone through a similar path as a pretty girl?
Her life is so different than my life that I have no idea how it affected her. I'm still figuring out how my life affected me.
True.
And I think for the rest of my life, I'm gonna be
for her,
figuring
it's so
it out.
recent.
So recent. She was
7
just born.
years now.
Like, it's like watching my brother grow up, and I can see things that are gonna affect him. Like, I keep asking myself every time how much my leavings affect him. Like, how will they? Because right now it is a big problem. Of course it is. He's a child, and this is one of the biggest things that happens in his life. I come and I go, like, so of course right now it means this, but I mean in the long run. Will he fall in love with women that are unavailable? Will he fall in love with sad women?
No.
With women that scream at him? Not me right now, I'm talking about someone else. And it's like, I don't know, and I couldn't like predict it, and I have to always tell myself that I am doing the best, and then I am begged like by all my other selves to ask me, but if I am doing the best, wasn't she doing the best, and therefore I should forgive her?
Ooh.
And it's like, yeah, it's not that simple.
It's not that simple.
And it's like, yes, she is doing her best, but that doesn't mean
that she's making the best choices.
Yeah.
And it doesn't mean that she didn't have another option.
True.
Like, there are a lot of nuance.
There are. Like,
sometimes she did what was best for you. Sometimes she did what was best for the both of us. Sometimes she did what was best for her.
Yeah. And I guess you can't just always, like, it is about sacrifice.
Okay.
And I get it. It is crazy, though, that we keep going back to childhood.
Yes. It felt like it was gonna last forever.
It did. Like, I remember going to my English classes and hating it after a while, because I already told you why. Like, it was boring. I knew more than a lot of teachers, but I needed to get my diploma. And I remember going, and I was already tired of it, and it felt like it would last forever, and it didn't. It passed so long ago. So long. I graduated high school after I graduated from English. I was already graduated in English when I graduated high school. And so it is so long ago, and still when it was happening I thought, oh my god, this will never end. And it did. It ended.
It did.
It passed. I have a diploma.
I was so anxious about vestibulares e passar em coisas. Tipo assim, tem aquela foto que foi até você que tirou e tal, na sua casa de cóquias. Passed. It passed. All the trouble of not having to go through Asia. It passed.
You went to Asia?
I did.
To China, you mean? Like Japan?
Asia! So, Asia?
Yeah,
You went to Asia?
Oh my god, you studied in Japan?
I did. I'm gonna start
North
saying that I
Korea?
did that.
Yeah, you
I'm
went
gonna start
to
saying that I had to
Asia.
go to Asia
Oh my god, like it was so hard. I had to go to Asia.
to get myself together.
You can say like Russia is in Asia, part of Russia. Then you
Yeah.
speak Russian. You
True.
said you had to go to Asia.
Oh, I'm gonna say to someone.
Yeah,
I'm
just
gonna
keep
say to
saying.
someone. Right. Please, let's keep this up.
Yeah.
No, high
Had
five.
to go to Asia.
I had to go to Asia. I like that. Oh my god, I'm so gonna say that.
High school was so hard for me. Then I had to go to 2 weeks in Japan, 5 weeks in Russia.
Oh
my god.
really? Yeah.
It was very hard.
That's where I got this.
Oh my god, this is so good.
It has been asked before, so I can use it as a hook for me to say that I went to Asia.
Good
See,
job.
I have all the lore. I just need to write it down.
It started
now
here.
I'm gonna have to get heavy on Russian because then no one's gonna expect
you
I love it. Now it's your turn. You have to introduce how were you in Russia and how we met there. Go.
I know how to count to 10 in Japanese.
You do?
It's ni san shi go hoku sechi hachi kyujo.
No way!
It's ni san shi go hoku sechi hachi kyujo. But I talk like a Brazilian. But yes. My friend Tommy, he went to karate when we were young. We were really friends. He's a gay boy now. But my mom would say that
you would get together.
And his mom also. Like, they thought we were so cute. But we were friends, and he's gay, and he was so smart. He's so smart. I think he's autistic, now that I think about it. He was so polite. He said please and thank you like no other boy would. He was smelling good. A mãe dele que penteava o cabelinho dele do lado assim, passava perfume, sabe? Agora eu penso que ele era um bebezinho, velho. Mas na época ele era muito mais alto que eu. I was a child. And it felt like velho, ele era um bebê. Ele era um bebê. Aí, porque a gente tinha tipo 3, 4 anos que eu estudava junto. And I remember him. João Augusto. Anyways, and we studied together no Castelinho um tempão. And he taught me, and he also spoke German. It was very fancy.
No. Wow.
Now he has a boyfriend. Good for him.
Ooh.
I knew that he was too different from the other boys. He was very gay from the beginning.
Wow. I wonder. Like, I want to have a girlfriend.
Why?
Like, honestly.
What do you want from a girlfriend?
I want the connection, I guess. I want...
Define girlfriend connection.
Okay.
Is it your fingers in her pussy?
No, it's not what I meant. I was screaming cuddles. It's not that. I was not. At no point I was thinking of sex.
Oh.
But now they mentioned it.
Now that you said that.
Like, no, for real. Like, because I want to experience it.
You know, I've been wanting to experience it for a while. Not right now. I feel like I need to deal with some things inside of me.
Okay, like right now, I'm waiting for us to move. I think.
I think so too. I'm waiting for us to move, cause like I don't want to
get attached.
Yeah, I don't want to grow roots here.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna stay here.
This is passage.
So it is like we're using our times to grow. Like expectancy of girlfriend is pushed further.
Eu lembrei de um trem que a gente assistiu falando que... como é que era? Eu esqueci como é que chama. As...
Visões da Ray.
Não.
Você tá igualzinha a ela.
As rústicas, elas são só pra treino.
Quem?
As chusquias. Esqueci qual é. É um termo hebreu. As chusquias são só pra treino.
As chicks. É verdade. Chicks are for fun. And real Jew women are for marriage.
I think she has said are for practice.
Real Jew women?
No.
Shiksas.
The shiksas are for practice.
I thought you were saying.
No.
You were blaspheming the Jews right now. Do you think I'm
Naza
Jew?
Club.
No! It's Mazel Tov! Your assassination of the Hebrew language made me drop my water. Aren't you ashamed of god, saying that in front of a Jew, a real life Jew. Oh my god, I dropped your water.
Blasphemy!
Blasphemy! I'm blaspheming! Oh my god, this is not kosher! Oh my god! My phone.
Aren't you ashamed?
Oh my god! Stop! Oh my god, I was gonna say something very controversial right now. I'm not gonna say that. Nossa, que tanto de água daí. Que tanto de água daí. Aquela mulher bateu a cesta de compra e ficou roxo. Eu falei que ia ficar sentindo o batidão dela.
Eu vou ficar. Eu sabia, eu vou ficar roxo.
Eu vou ficar roxo. Nossa, é verdade. Minha tatuagem tá falando que eu vou ficar roxa. Eu falei.
Do jeito.
Eu fiz uma profecia.
Fez.
E ela se cumpriu.
Good job. Now we don't have water.
Oh não!
Não sei como você derrubou o outro copo.
Eu não sei. Eu fui falar que eu sou judia e o copo caiu. But don't I look like a Jew?
Are you insisting on it? You just got the proof.
This was God against me?
It was.
Oh, okay.
Not God. Oxalá.
Oxalá. É muito sincretismo religioso. I'm sorry if anyone's offended. Where is
Nossa,
it?
mas molhou muito o isqueiro.
Where is it?
What?
You're sorry for anyone who's offended. I don't want to be haunted in this house by any Jew or any other, or Catholic or Protestant or
A Jaque é judia?
a Jaque. Does it sound like a Jewish name? Did you know? Você sabia que os judeus vieram para o Brasil? Eles vieram e eles tiveram que mudar de sobrenome. E aí, muitos deles colocaram sobrenomes de palavras, tipo assim, coelho, pinheiro, esses sobrenomes assim. And now, e agora a gente tem um monte, né? Carneiro.
No.
And yeah, a lot of the Jews that came to Brazil have so people may not be Jew anymore with these, but they descend from Jewish people. Crazy, right? O da Gi era muito chique, tipo assim. Ela tá viva ainda. A Gi é muito chique. Muito chique, tipo assim, ela podia ser atriz de
É verdade. Tem um tio que
a
a gente
letra
chama
dela é
ele
muito feia,
de tio
tadinha.
Thomas.
You know, I miss the rabbi show. Like, as a child, I keep thinking when I watch these shows, I don't see myself finding these shows if I was a child, you know? Finding them on TV, for an example. Or, like, this is really what I am watching right now. I don't know. You know what I mean? Sometimes I watch things that I watched as a child and I realize that I see completely different now. Like when we watched Harry Potter. It was so interesting because I had never watched Harry Potter again as an adult. And you had never watched it. So it was the perfect combo. The perfect combo. Because I was like, oh my god, Harry Potter. I have been obsessed with this as a child. I would watch it so many times, Lucia. Like, there was no way I didn't remember every single thing. And guess what? I not only didn't remember every single thing, as I realized new things. I realized new things because I was not watching it as the perspective of a child. I was watching it with another perspective, not only of a grown-up, but of someone who has a brother who they treat as a son, as someone who has siblings, because I didn't have siblings. I didn't have siblings, and now I do. I have 3, which is insane. I didn't know that I was able to care about these many people, and I care so much. And I realized also, I finally let myself. I always was what people like to call drama queen, But then I always tried to hide that because I thought it was a bad thing. Don't do that. Don't feel too much. But now I think it's great. I love feeling a lot. So I finally accepted my title as a drama queen. Yes, I like to be dramatic. I think life is dramatic, okay? I'm sorry that I have the eyes of a poet. And then, like I stopped trying to contain that and I have a totally new perspective. Plus, my perspective as a child, because every of my perspective is stacked on top of each other. So Harry Potter just meant something else. And we watched it like from beginning to end. And it was so... like there were so many emotions that I just couldn't have as a child because I was only a child and now I have more things and like in my baggage. So I watched it all and like more things even. I mean, it's like knowing that Joanne, J.K. Rowling, is a bigot, that she's transphobic and that she is anti-Semitic, that she doesn't like Jews too much. And like watching it and seeing also the representations of her hatred in the opera, it's like interesting to see. I didn't have that. I didn't know. I didn't have that knowledge. I didn't really care about the woman behind Harry Potter at first, and then I found out about her and I thought she was awesome. So it's a whole thing. It completely changed. And when you said, we have to watch Harry Potter again, I know that it's gonna be different again. Mm-hmm. Like, no matter how many times I watch it, anything really, I can always make it a different experience. Because tem uma frase que eu não sei de quem é. Eu não lembro. Mas pode pesquisar que você vai descobrir de quem é. A frase é... Um homem nunca pisa no mesmo lago duas vezes. For he would never be the same man, and that would never be the same lake. Mm-hmm. And Yes, every experience is a new one and I can never repeat an experience.
True.
And like I can see it in my brother, for an example. He doesn't understand it yet that he can't remake a good experience. And it's so interesting. For an example, we saw a video of him that I was showing him pictures of him, and we saw a video of him where my mom was filming and saying... Eu tô muito orgulhosa de você. E aí ele fala assim, não, mamãe, orgulhoso não, faz bravo. And he thought that the video was so funny that he wanted it to happen again. But it can't happen again. It already happened. But he was like, vem cá, mamãe, vem cá. Me filma. Não, tira foto de eu falando faz bravo. And he was repeating what he said in the video after. Because he wanted it to be, again, the same thing. But it wasn't the same thing. And he wanted to keep doing it. My mom didn't want to be there. He was like, he didn't understand why no one wanted to relive that memory. But it's because it's unrelivable. We can only produce new original experiences. Even when we try really hard to reproduce a previous experience, you can't. You can only live a new one. It's our fate. You can only live new things. And but it was so interesting to watch him wanting to recreate that moment again and again. It's
like, oh my god,
interesting.
That is.
I don't have water. Do you want to bring us some water, please? I know that I was the reason, and you're gonna have to be the consequence. But I have nothing else to say. Do you want to pick up someone? I know that I was the reason and you're going to have to solve this problem, but yeah.
That's it.
That's all.
You just explained it.
I just made it clear that I understood the situation, that I'm not doing this unknowingly.
Yeah, okay. I'm just so grateful that you're the next one to get the water.
What?
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to get water. Yeah, are you sure I didn't get it last time?
No, last time I did it.
Oh no. You've wet my fingers.
Eita! Do you like it?
Wow. Good job. Thank you. Thank you. And this was not me mimicking you. This was just me making this sound.
Eu não tinha pensado nisso, mas agora eu fiz uma bateria assim tão engraçada.
it's just me saying it in another way. Eu vou pegar granola. Ou aveia. O que?
Você queria ir lá na cozinha?
I didn't know that I wanted. Eu vou no banheiro. Que vadia você. Não. Nossa, eu adoro comer essa granola com bolacha e tal. Que susto, achei que você ia comer um pimentão. Pimenta amarelo e fala, Lu, você acha que eu sei que você não vai gostar, não?
Eu acho que eu sim.
Eu acho que é assim.
Véi, nossa, ótimas reflexões tivemos aqui hoje. Are you gonna talk to your mother about being autistic?
At some point, I think. But not right now because she's acting like she's really upset about something, but she also doesn't want to tell me. And she barely is responding me.
But she is, right?
Only when I insist a lot and I call a lot, and then she's like, what? I don't want to tell. So that's what she's been doing. Which has been driving me crazy. I dreamt about my brother this night, you know, and I asked her to call me so I could talk to him. She didn't. She doesn't want to talk. I don't want to talk to her. But, well. Já gostou dessa xeremica?
Desculpa agora. Teus braços não dá pra comer.
2 braços? Não dá pra comer? What did we watch yesterday?
We watched A Família Adams.
Ah, é verdade.
And Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark.
I feel like they lost me. You know, one thing that I didn't like about that movie, I didn't like when I first watched it, and I didn't like it when I watched it yesterday. This is my personal preference, okay? Like, doesn't mean that the way that I think it's better or worse. They lost me because if they had made me empathize with the ghost of Sarah, it would be way scarier than trying to make me scared of her. Because they said, oh, she's an albino girl, PPP. Okay, why didn't they cast an albino girl? Why did they paint that woman white? Why did they put a white wig in her head? Why didn't they fucking cast an albino person, a girl, like a young girl that would make me hurt for her? When I see her spirit after all the weird shit that we saw and heard her difficult ass backstory, you know? Her backstory was bad. I want to be scared of her situation. I don't want her to jump scare me, you know? And they made that spirit like that because it was scarier, because she was supposed to look scary. But I think a little albino girl would have been so much scarier to see her suffering, scary in an empathetic kind of way, scared for her, you know, scared of everything that she lived.
Like we did when it was the character that we had grown
attached
fond
to.
for.
Yeah, literally.
Fond of.
And it was like, it just, we saw so many scary things, and then Sarah in the end was just one more cheap jump scare. I didn't feel for her, and I know I was supposed to, but I think this is not a book. This is a movie. So if the visuals should help the story. And I think the visuals lacked in that point.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not the first time that I see something like that. Like, it's not that hard to find albino people in the world. Albino actors may be harder. Cast an open call, I don't know. Just hire someone like what you're describing to me, or make it something else. Why does it have to be albino? If you won't compromise to find an actual albino person, this is not, again, this is not a book, this is the movie. If you don't compromise to find an actual albino person and show me, let me see what albinism looks like, okay? Like, that is just, it's what they did with blackface. It's like, I don't care about accurately representing this person. I just care about, like, it's a cheap backstory for this character, or in case of blackface, it's a way to humiliate these people further, you know? Mm-hmm. And it's like, I don't know, I don't like it. Why did she have to be albino if you won't compromise for an albino person to actually be there? She could be something else then. What's another difference that you would put on screen, you know?
Uh-huh.
And that bothered
And
me.
also, like, they had a contortionist guy and they couldn't make up a scarier thing for them to hide.
Right?
A better reason.
A better reason, exactly. And like, I think that I vaguely remember this movie, but I remember being disappointed at something. And I didn't know what it was. Exactly, you know, I was like, something wasn't that scary in the end, you know?
Yeah,
and
you don't take the movie seriously because the director didn't.
Yeah, exactly. We can't take the movie seriously because the director didn't. And I understand, but that movie could have been so scary, Lucia. Like, not that it wasn't, but it could have been so scary. The red room, pale lady thing scared the fuck out of me. The fucking, Lucia, that fucking thing with the spiders coming out of her hole. But if it was butterflies in my case, I would have nightmares about this. I hate thinking about it. I am contortioning right now. And like the whole thing, like the scarecrow, scary. But again, it wasn't made to scare us. It would make like, I don't know. Like, and then I think that in the end they made a bad choice with Sarah. And I think she could have been scarier if she was less made to scare me. Mm-hmm. Like, just show me what you're telling me she is. Isn't she a young albino girl that is very scared and has been mistreated? Where is that girl? Because this ghost shirt isn't her. What the fuck? Who are you, bitch? Why are you pretending to be Sarah? Awe.
She was just
I'm just an ordinary girl. Sometimes I wait and I wait for.
Well, you summed it up. An ordinary girl. I'm sorry, guys. I was just bored.
I'm just an ordinary girl. Sometimes I break when I get bored. I get happy, I'm ignored. I am clapping and clapping and clapping once more. Assim é a música da Miley Cyrus.
Nem sabia, cara. Mas muito estranho her choice of people to attack.
The children. They just got her book and read about it a little bit.
Right?
I can understand her father, her brother.
Yeah, I understand it. But the other ones.
But maybe, you know what it was missing for me? A scene like in Paranormal, where it's clear that her main reason wasn't that. But she became something, like her spirit stayed for so long that it became anger.
Mm-hmm.
And they try to show it in that movie, but it's bad. It's not as good as in Paranorman. Again, because Paranorman shows the little girl. But not only that. Not only that. Also, besides that, Paranorman also is more compelling as a story. I like Paranorman better. Like, I think The Witch is more compelling in Paranorman. That's what I mean. I think I like it better the way they dealt with it.
Agreed.
Right? And it's a thing and everyone's scared and it's like, a witch! Ah! And she's like, I'm gonna be what you want me to be. And then she's just a scared little girl that was fucking hanged. Spoilers! Spoiler alert for Paranorman. She was hanged. Hanged. Crying for her mom. They said, you're a witch. She's like, I am 7? Just kidding, she was 12. But she looked 7.
She did. Gilmore.
They hanged a 7-year-old
Marlon,
looking 12-year-old. No one knew. And then he only figured out by the end when we saw the whole thing. And it was very emotional.
Yeah. What did I do to you? I didn't know that that's what he said after that. What did I do to you?
Nada disso. Eu falei, and her little hands. Mas eu tava mastigando minha... Como é o nome disso aqui mesmo?
Pode? A véia.
A minha véia. Eu mastigando a minha véia.
A véia com Todd.
Vapo.
Life is such a weird word, right?
It is.
Like, I was teaching you these things.
L-A-U-G.
J?
No,
I always get mixed G and J.
J is like from Jacob.
Yeah, I always mix it with
If
G.
you write with G, it becomes Jacob. Anyways, so G is for gay. J is for Jacob. Jacob without a J becomes gay.
Thank you.
And now you remember?
Yes.
Jacob without a J becomes gay.
Yes. J and gay. I was saying I mean a lot about self-compassion. And I want to be,
I want to break for you.
yes, have more compassion towards myself. And I was seeing about some doctors that have studied about it, and there's this woman that is Dr. Neff, and she has written about it, and I'm listening one of her on a podcast that she participated, and I'm seeing if it's interesting. And she's really sweet. She's saying, like, I didn't invent it. This is something that appears, especially in religion. And when I was getting my PhD, I was very insecure. It was an insecure time for me before I had to do my presentation. I was going through a divorce. I was young. I was and I was going through a hard time. So I went to a meeting with people talking about life experiences, and I don't remember what it was. And lucky her, the leader was talking about self-compassion, and it really helped her. So like then she started to study more about it, and she became kind of an expert in the matter. And I still to figure out more about it, but it's very interesting. And I want to reshape the way that I think because I'm very harsh and I am always leaving as if like I have like the game that I want to make up, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And it is unrealistic and like impossible to maintain. I forgot the word for it. There's no way that you could maintain it, keep on going with it without rest and reflection, which is something that was lacking on it, and which I was aiming to burn out. I was like, oh, only improvement, and not commemorating my.
There are no trees that have leaves the entire year, right? No.
Yeah, true.
Like, eu ia falar, galinha não bota ovo todo dia, mas eu não sei, será que não bota? Tipo assim, eu acho que até a galinha tem dia que não bota ovo, não é possível não tem jeito. Como?
Yeah, I mean, like, it is, and like something that one of the women in the podcast said, that like, something that it's really hit me because I think for a while I did think that a perfect life would be would have to be perfect, and anything away from it would be alarm sounding and things like this is wrong, we have to fix this and I have to run away with this. But she says that like it is just one part. The perfect moments are just one part, and it is like we were talking about, it's gonna happen, it's gonna go, and it's gonna happen again. But that just a second, I'm losing it.
Just a second, I'm losing it.
Oh no. Like when my dad was talking about the community, for an example, that everyone, the first house to be built in the community that he wants to have is the farmer's house. So like we can start having animals. And then everyone out of the 10, let's suppose 10, everyone's gonna help build the house of this guy that takes care of the animals. And then as payment, he provides meat and eggs, milk, whatever, to everyone, like no cost, because it's an exchange. We helped you, so you help us.
I was just thinking about it. I'm sorry, I was thinking about it while you were speaking.
No, I don't mind.
I wasn't. But I was thinking that I have been thinking about this for a long time. That I have been searching things that I want to do, right? And in the things that I want to do, there are also things that I think are possible and things that I don't think about because I probably don't think that they're possible in my scope. But there's one way of media that I had never considered, and I started considering it more, especially because of you, because you said it once or twice and stuff like that. But I don't know, but I didn't, but it was like closer to my bubble. It was not in the bubble, but it was close to my thinking bubble. And then we watched the Rabbi show where the two sisters are making a podcast, and it sounded really real, and they made it sound real. They were like PPP podcast, and they were very like talking about very personal things and talking to each other, literally, because a podcast, and they weren't filming themselves, so there was no camera to make them uncomfortable. They were talking normally and talking to each other, and then it was really good, and I kept thinking about it, and then I thought about it in this moment, and I thought, whoa, if we had a podcast? And we
I was thinking about the same thing.
Oh, I think that I lose myself when there's a camera. I think that I lose who I am. I cannot talk as openly when there's a camera. It cannot be me. I am always cautious that there's a camera. So either way, I'm acting. And there's no camera. I'm only acting to you, which is what we normally do, acting to each other. And so, like, I think we could have a podcast. And, like, we don't have to post it in podcast places yet. We could just, I was thinking right now about creating characters, drawing them, and then we could make, tipo assim,
the thumbnail.
And then o máximo colocar uma legenda pra quem tá assistindo e acompanhando se quiser.
I love it. I really do. It's so interesting because before you said the laughs of us, I went to the kitchen to get something, and I was thinking, you speak so much like you're in a podcast. You're so eloquent.
I listen to a lot of podcasts. It's crazy because I listen to a lot of podcasts and still I never really considered it. Like, and I am always so uncomfortable that I don't want people to keep looking at my face. Like, I want to delete every video I've ever posted on TikTok. And it's like, people don't have to look at my face. They can listen to me and imagine what I look like.
Right? And, like, I wasn't one for podcasts until I was. Like,
you're welcome.
Thank you. But, like, when I was serious on English, I started to listen to a podcast called Science Daily. And it talks about a bunch of things and curiosities. It was very interesting. It's a guy and a girl talking, and I would listen to it as I would work out, and I would work out for 1 hour. It was like very...
I started listening to podcasts a lot while driving. Also, but while traveling, because I travel a lot, and I was tired of my own songs. It's always the same songs, and I just wanted something more interesting, and then I started listening to podcasts and also audiobooks, but especially podcasts. And then, like, I got an iPhone, so I had access to Apple Podcasts, which are free. The podcasts are for free, and everything's for free. So not for free because you have to pay for an iPhone to get it, but I started listening because of that, porque tinha um íconezinho assim de podcasts e eu nunca tinha clicado. E um dia eu cliquei e eu descobri que era tipo esses programas de rádio. E eu falei, wow!
Esses programas de rádio!
And then I really liked it, and two of my favorites that I have been listening to for forever, and one of them is not on Apple Podcasts anymore, but it is on Spotify, which you pay for me, so thank you. But it is like Science Versus and Flash Forward. With Science Versus is a podcast that pits facts against science, or like science against something. Like, is this like I would have to see one episode specifically. Yeah, against myths, against things that people say. Let's see, and then they conduct the whole thing. They talk to experts. It's very interesting, very good. I love that show. And also Flash Forward, which is like they show a possible or not so possible future. They show a future and then they see what that future would actually look like.
I think I heard one episode that you recommended.
It's really good. I really like it. I haven't been listening to podcasts for a while because I'm trying to finish this huge ass book that I started, and it became a comfort book when I travel. Every time that I travel, I continue listening to it. But it has 50 hours? How many pages must it have? It's called The Laws of Human Nature. So it's really good. I really like that book.
Do you feel like you retain information well then? To read such a big book? Actually, listen to it?
Yeah. Especially when I'm listening to it with my eyes closed. And I have to pay attention because the closest thing to thought is audio, right? That's the closest thing to the thoughts in my own head. Listening to podcasts not only allows me to really immerse because I have to, especially because I do it as I'm traveling or when I was exercising also. It also sometimes I am listening to a podcast and I confuse it with my own thoughts because I start thinking about other things on top of it. And then I realize that I am listening to a podcast. It's interesting.
No, I love this. It could be a Wednesday thing. Like
Good.
on Wednesday afternoon,
On
we get
Wednesdays,
cozy. I'm gonna make a huge tapete.
How?
Let's make a tapete.
Oh, like
Let's make a
crochet?
tapete. Yes.
Yeah.
So we can sit on it here in the living room.
Take
Com a
the
mesinha,
microphones.
get the microphones, and record.
Talk.
And then after we talk, after
like
we reach the
therapy.
limit, and then we name it after. So like this is gonna be about the da-na-na-na, because we talked about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, totally. And I think it would be a great idea.
Right?
And
then we are gonna have to do things for the podcast.
things for the podcast.
I love this. I love it.
And yeah, and then we just post it on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't have to change the name of the channel because I'm like
We
the
can-
name of the podcast is the name. Porque eu já tenho
We can
1.000
post it on
seguidores.
Spotify, no?
Mas é porque no Spotify é mais difícil, né, não? Porque tipo assim, no YouTube a gente só faz como se fosse um vídeo, pega a thumbnail de desenho e coloca o áudio por cima.
Makes sense.
Até pra editar é melhor, porque eu não sei aplicativo de editar áudio, eu sei aplicativo de editar vídeo. Um vídeo que é só um áudio gigante, corto e colo no lugar que eu quiser.
Makes sense then. I get it.
And I listen to podcasts on YouTube, and then later, if you feel like it, we can post it on Spotify. Porque it's literally easier to post it on YouTube at this point. And then I am gonna draw it.
There was a podcast that I heard also that it was Phineas and his girlfriend.
I thought you were gonna say Phineas and Ferb.
No, not Phineas and Ferb. It was Phineas and Claudia. It was called something that I don't know what it was, and I know that in the thumbnail they were naked, but the house was like in front of them. Yeah, like very artsy. The house was like not letting them be naked.
The house was impeding.
Yeah.
Ai, meu Deus. Mas what would we call it besides the lasso? The laughs.
Hey, esse nome não pode. We have a hard time saying it.
The laughs of
True. You're gonna record it in English, right?
Eu acho que a gente pode recordar do jeito que a gente quiser. Tipo assim, because I think mostly in English, because we speak mostly English in our conversation. But I realize that sometimes we say things that are in Portuguese because we lack the English word in the moment, or vice versa. We start to tell a story that's in Portuguese, and I don't want to censor us. I think if we have American listeners that don't speak Portuguese, they will either flash forward or wait, listen to us speaking another language, enjoy it, you know, and maybe learn. And if we have Brazilian speakers that listen, that know English, and they're like, oh, they're Brazilian. And if we have no listeners, we speak like that.
Yeah.
So let's
like
just speak normally and whatever. And because it's on YouTube, if we ever want, we could colocar legenda. Já coloca aquela legenda AI automática e vai só corrigindo, sabe?
Yes. Not witches.
No witches! What else?
I finished the wine in the fridge and I bought a skull. I did. I didn't know that, so that's crazy.
You're confessing right now,
I am.
live. You're
What is my
confessing in live
penitence?
action.
What is my penitence?
You want to be fun. Até da igreja.
Yes, I was waiting for like real penitence, not like a mommy.
want some milk?
No, I've grown.
You've grown.
I have.
You've grown past the boob sucking phase. What was I saying? Yes, I thought we could call it the No Face Podcast because podcast no faces, and then the drawings could be drawings and then censor the faces of the drawings.
Ooh, I like it.
Why are they censoring the faces of the drawings?
I like that.
No faces
podcast. No faces.
Yeah.
No social media.
No social media.
I like that. I like that.
The No Face Podcast. And then when I edit the audios, I could edit anything like
Censor the names?
the names, por exemplo. When I say, tipo, a gente tava falando eu edito e coloco a minha voz falando my sister. Sem o nome dela, sabe? Ou então eu falando o nome da vizinha, aí fala vizinha. You know, like neighbor. Exactly.
No, you will go through all of that?
Well, I think so because I would like to hear us speaking, and also because
different than singing.
Yeah, and not only that, because we would be, I think, because I don't want to censor anything that we say as we say it, because I think that like it's gonna make it ungenuine like the camera. So I will talk. And then I'm gonna see what I think it's appropriate or not.
Yeah, it's not a live show.
Exactly. It doesn't have to be. I'm not gonna just record hours of audio and put it out there without any... Like, I am very close to cancellation every day. You know that. And I won't... So,
and I will not censor myself. I can just cut it out.
I will censor myself later.
Yeah, I would just cut it out.
And the best part is that audio recording is not as heavy as video recording.
Oh.
So I can record.
And your phone records also really nicely.
Yeah, and we have
also
microphones.
the microphones. True.
We have microphones, and not only that,
really sexy voices.
We do.
We do.
Wow.